Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, worshippers of all ages, welcome to YouTube. My name is SeaRaptor, and it is time for more Scuttlebutt. This week's game in the background is brought to you by brand new Tier 10 Soviet destroyer, Delny. Delny is replacing Khabarovsk in the tech tree, right? Khabarovsk, of course, now moved over to the armory, available for coal. Delny, her replacement. And I was derping around on the weekend. I think I played this game on Sunday. That sounds about right. Just trying the ship out, trying to get a feel for her. This is my very first game in Delny. Let me tell you, I'm pretty satisfied. I never clicked with Khabarovsk over the years for whatever reason. And this ship just felt a little more comfortable. I think it wasn't until I was messing around with Zorky, the super ship version, way back on the Public Test Center a while ago, that something kind of clicked, and I went, wait a minute, have I finally figured out how to play Khabarovsk? And Delny really kind of fits into that niche nicely. The biggest improvement to this ship is her handling, right? One of the big things that they nerfed Haba with all those years ago was they just destroyed her maneuverability. Delny gives some of that back in exchange for 2 fewer barrels than Khabarovsk has. And honestly, I don't miss them. I think this ship is just fine. She comes in a really nice place. Now, I am playing it here with the level 4 commander skill that gives me an extra 20% range. You see there on the mini-map, my range out to nearly 16 kilometers. You start to kind of play this thing like a little bit of a light cruiser, and she's a lot of fun. So enjoy the game while we chat about what's going on in boats. Probably the biggest news is it is a patch week, and we're going to talk about the patch, but probably the biggest news is something that, in my opinion, a lot of people might not necessarily register, might not realize is as big a news as it is, and that is over on Reddit. The lead producer of the game, who for the last few years has been Sub-Octavian, announced that he is leaving the project, he's leaving the World of Warships team, and he is moving on to other things. That is noteworthy. The first overall lead publisher of the game was Evan, right? Evan was with the game for a very, very long time, basically from release all the way through, until Sub stepped in early 2020. Evan now runs the NA office. He's here in Texas, over in Austin. He's running the NA regional publishing office, and Sub took over. And now a little more than 2 years since Sub took over, he will be headed out the door. His replacement has not been announced. Presumably, you don't make this kind of change, right, without knowing many months in advance and there being a plan. So I'm sure we'll find out who his replacement is soon. They'll announce it. But his departure is noteworthy. For starters, as has been pointed out in more than one place, we're almost exactly 6 months to the day, 6-ish months to the day after the giant train wreck mess of the CC Exodus late last year. Well, back half of last year, I suppose. So there's the suspicion, the likelihood, the possibility, let's say, exists that this is actually part and parcel to that, right? Wargaming's not going to tell you. It's all speculation. No one's ever going to admit one way or another. But it is possible that all of that mess and the bad press and the ill will and everything actually did contribute to Sub kind of leaving the game. But whether it is or not, I feel like this is a good thing, right? One of the things that you may have noticed the last couple of years is the incredibly aggressive release of premium ships, right? Like 4 to 5 to 6 a month? Sometimes multiples in a week? Like, it's just insane how quickly they're shoving premium ships out the door. Premium ships, research points, steel, coal ships, whatever. Now, some of that, I think, is of their own making, right? When you introduce all of these different currency types, you're going to want to try and keep them fed with new content. So I get it. But it feels to me like they've been perhaps a little overly aggressive. And I attribute that to leadership at the top. I don't blame these guys for wanting to make a buck. It's a business. You got to make money. But it feels like, to some extent, the last few years, the pace has been absolutely unsustainable for the player base to keep up with, right? So, I don't know. Now, is that going to change, right? Is that a direction from corporate and not a flavor of the lead producer? I can't say. I have no idea. Obviously, I don't work in that office. But I'm cautiously optimistic that overall this is a positive step for the game. Now, some of that's I'm going to caveat that by saying some of that is going to depend on who his replacement is, and we don't know yet. But we're going to have to keep an eye on things. Anyway, so a change in leadership in St. Petersburg, and hopefully that is for the best. It is patch week here. 11.1 having dropped just recently. The Pan-Asian Cruiser pre-release continues. I'm kind of enjoying these ships a little bit. I like a good light cruiser. They do feel sometimes pathetically weak, but you know, it is what it is. I'm still enjoying the ships more or less. I think they're an interesting challenge. Super carriers are here. I haven't talked about these. I actually meant to make a Scuttlebutt last week, but it was too much going on. Honestly, these ships don't impress me all that much right now. Now, I haven't played against them or for them. I've played one or against one, so I mean, take this with a grain of salt. But on paper, I don't know. I'm ambivalent. I will say I'm actually kind of cautiously optimistic that HMS Eagle is a decent ship because the Brits don't have a tier 10 aircraft carrier right now, and it would be nice for them to have one. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on things and see how it goes. I do have those unlocked. Maybe I'll try and play some games this weekend and give that a shot. Personal challenges are back, and of course this time they come with the long-term reward of participating and making the effort to progress through the system. You'll be able to choose between either earning Tier 10 Premium British Cruiser HMS Dido or Tier 10 Premium Spanish Cruiser Canarias. And both ships are kind of bring their own unique flavor to the game. In my opinion, Canarias is the better pick. And I'm going to do a separate video on this and kind of go through why I feel that way. But in my opinion, if you're looking for just a quick and dirty, what should I save up for and buy? Canarias is the way to go, in my opinion. Dido is a much more challenging ship to play and feels a little gimped at times. So, but yeah, Dido's final result just really is kind of underwhelming. The Tier 10 American Destroyer Premium USS Forrest Sherman can also kind of sort of be earned through this system because you can unlock what they call firepower crates, and these crates have a chance to drop like some of the Tier 10 premium ships, like the coal ships, you know, Immelman, Marceau, Salem, Moskva, Napoli, Yoshino, and now Sherman is on that list. So I'll talk about Sherman separately, possibly in a different video, but Sherman will be available for straight up coal eventually, but not available in the armor just yet. I can't really recommend Sherman, in my opinion. Like, this is my one man's opinion. I love the American Destroyer line. I don't care for Sherman all that much. In my mind, she's overly focused into a gunboat and doesn't bring enough non-gunboat things to the table to displace someone like a Kleber or a Delny even, right? So, anyways, that's my opinion. New season of Ranked is back. This time, we've kind of gone back to the traditional method of rank. Bronze League is Tier 6-7, Silver is Tier 8-9, Gold is Tier 10. The number of players actually is going to change as you move through the ranks. This is curious. This is new. Bronze will still be 7v7, but as you move up to Silver, it drops to 6v6, and move to Gold, it drops to 5v5. Actually kind of curious to move up to Silver, and maybe even Gold. We'll see. I doubt I'll invest the time to go all the way to Gold, but I do want to try to get to Silver. Clan battles are returning next week. Another Tier 10 season of 7v7 at Tier 10. So that starts on the 23rd of February. That's next Wednesday. There's some economic changes in this patch, mostly surrounding carriers and planes. Now, supposedly the way this is supposed to work is that you're going to be rewarded for all the aerial damage you do. Every point of damage you do to a plane will come with some reward, and not just if you deal the final tick of damage to that plane and get the kill. I like this change, because it makes investing in anti-aircraft skills, as I do on many of my ships, just that much more rewarding when I get to use it. Even if somebody else ends up getting the plane kill, right? If I carve away 90% of the plane's health, but somebody else's ship gets the tick that kills the plane before they were getting the bonus. Now we're actually going to take whatever that credit bonus is and split it up a little bit. And I vastly prefer that. I think that's a better way to go. We mentioned earlier, because we're looking at Delny, Haberovsk is moved out of the tech tree, now available in the Armory for coal. So is Tier 10 German battleship Grosse Kurfürst. She is also available in the Armory for coal, having been replaced with Tier 10 Preußen. I have not played Preußen. I've read a lot about it. I've seen people talk about it. I have not played the ship. So again, that'll be something I'll have to try and get done on stream next week or something like that. Last but not least is patch the usual slate of balance fixes. Excuse me. Most of the new German battlecruiser line from about Tier 6 up got nerfs of some kind. Schlieffen in particular kind of got hit with the nerf bat a little bit. I think that's justified. That ship has always felt a little strong, and the The secondaries in particular feel just absolutely dumb, so those are getting a bit of a nerf. Tier 10 Soviet carrier Nakimov getting a bit of a nerf. Nope, no tears there. That ship needs more than what it's getting right now, but I'll take what I can get. Tier 9 American Premium USS Black, a little premium destroyer with radar, also getting a bit of a nerf to her radar duration. I mean, it's frustrating, but it's all right. 2 or 3 seconds is not going to make or break the deal. The acceleration of most high-tier carriers getting nerfed. I like this a lot. How many times have you seen an aircraft carrier sitting still? You've popped in a battleship, you've popped your spotter plane, taken a shot, he realizes he's lit, turns on his engines, and before your shells arrive, oh, he's moved. Now that's going to be a little more challenging for the carrier. So this is going to be more encouragement for high-tier carriers to turn on their engines and leave them on. Stay moving. I'm okay with this. Because it felt like they, for something that's, 45,000 tons, some of those ships had kind of stupid acceleration. And so a mix of other buffs to a variety of other ships, including Fenyang, which needs all the help it can get. Atlantico is getting a small buff to its AA suite, and Henri Quatre is also getting some of its speed nerf rolled back, acceleration nerf rolled back. Nice to see. Other news. There is lots to talk about, guys. Not terribly long ago, actually, I guess about 2 weeks now, World of Warships posted their roadmap for 2022. We haven't seen them do this in a while. If you have to go back and look, you'll find that the last roadmap they posted was probably like 2018, maybe 2017. The last time we saw them attempt something like this, they were talking about a high-tier Soviet destroyer split that had to do with like missiles. And everybody went, what? And of course, none of those ships ever was even tested on a live server. They were tested internally, and they went, ooh, no, this is not going to work, right? But that's the last time we saw anything like this. It's been many years. I'm glad to see them get back to this. So in the near term, quick brief highlights. We know that the Italian destroyers are coming very soon. Those will be coming into early release in 11.2. I've got first look videos running on those ships right now. We know the next line after that's going to be a French cruiser split. More on that in a minute. And then the next line after that, as we head deeper into summer and fall, is going to be a British battlecruiser line, presumably a split off the British battleship branch. So as we head into spring, right, because spring is probably only 4 weeks away. Next patch is 11.2 into March. Rogue Wave is returning. Submarines will come back to testing. I know we're all super excited. The next dockyard ship has been announced as Tier 8 Premium Pan-American Battleship Atlantico. I haven't tried Atlantico yet. I haven't even done a first look video on that, so I'm going to have to do that here very soon. There's a new map coming. Finally a new map coming based on the Faroe Islands. That location, by the way, chosen as a result of voting, a web vote that was held over on the website. Of course, we mentioned the Italian destroyers coming in about 3 or 4 weeks into early access. And they say, quote unquote, if super ships testing is successful, they're going to continue making super ships for kind of a mixture of the other lines in the game. With all they've invested, I am 100% confident, guys, that super ships will be declared successful. They've already announced a new one. All right, the next super ship has already been announced as Tier 10, Tier 11, whatever. HMS Edgar, which is like a super Minotaur. Now, I'm excited about the ship. Don't get me wrong. I love a good Minotaur. But if they're going to keep announcing ships on something that they're claiming, oh well, if it's successful, guys, they've made up their minds. It's successful. Okay, so yeah, don't be fooled here. What's coming in the summer as we head into presumably June, July, August? Convoy mode is returning. They're going to make a big overhaul of how economic bonuses apply to your ship. Now, apparently, they don't give you a lot of detail on this. I'm optimistic but cautious because what they're saying is they're going to separate economic bonuses from camos or flags. This could be good, or it could be bad. One of the things that Warships has struggled with these last few years is a massive proliferation of the economic and XP bonuses that are available through flags, camos, permanent flags, whatever. All of these things. They've made a lot of changes over the years. They've done a lot of different things to try to rein in that economic and XP kind of growth in the game. One of the reasons that operations have kind of been nerfed a little bit, right, is because people were using them to grind out ships very quickly without having to play against other players. And I guess Wargaming decided that wasn't necessarily what they wanted. So are they going to nerf some of these economic bonuses, right? Are they going to try and yank the leash and pull some of this stuff in? I don't know. But I think the possibility exists that that's what's going to happen. And so we kind of have to be a little wary and keep our eyes on this one. I'm curious I like the idea of being able to separate economic bonuses from what my ship looks like, but I don't want my economic bonuses to disappear completely. I worked hard for some of these economic bonuses, like my CC camos, for example. And so, yeah, I am optimistic but wary. Trust but verify. Let's keep an eye on this one and see how it goes as they start to announce more details. Over on the dev blog, a couple of posts I want to highlight. One is, as I mentioned earlier, it's been about 6 months or so since the giant community contributor mess last August. And Wargaming had a little post kind of patting itself on the back, perhaps rightly so, for achieving many of the stated goals that came out as a result of kind of the fallout and the aftermath of all that. I'll put a link down below, but so far they have been following through on many, if not all, of the promises that they made. I guess they posted that in September, basically saying, all right, here's what we're going to do to try to address some of these things. And basically, it's kind of a quick recap of what's been going on. Here's what we've been up to. And yes, here's us following through on our promises. So that's nice to see. And then the other one I want to point out that's worth going to check out if you're keeping tabs on the news is that the French cruiser split that I mentioned earlier has actually been announced. Starting at Tier 8, the French cruiser line will branch into an alternate line of super cruisers, basically, or battle cruisers, starting with 305mm guns. As near as I've been able to figure, these will be the largest tech tree cruiser guns in the game to this point. The Tier 8 starts at 305. I think the Tier 9 is also mounts 305. And the Tier 10 moves up to 330mm guns, which are, by the way, as near as I believe, the same guns mounted on Tier 6 French battleship Dunkirk. And these are going to be cruiser guns. I'm not sure how I feel about this line just yet. I love cruisers, but I love heavy cruisers. I love traditional cruiser designs. One of the things as the game has matured, right, we've seen more and more kind of battle cruisers, super cruisers come to the game, and I didn't mind that as long as they were, I don't want to say rare, but I'll say uncommon, right? But over time, those ships have proven to be so strong that you're starting to see Wargaming do more and more with them, right? Alaska had to go away because she was so popular. You know, Stalingrad remains a really good ship. We've got a whole lot, you know, Petropavlovsk exists. We've even brought Alaska down to Tier 8 in Congress. We took Alaska to Tier 10 in Puerto Rico, on and on and on. So, like, from Tier 8 up, seeing one of these big, fat 12-inch gun cruisers is not that unusual. And, I don't know. Now we're going to make a tech tree line out of it. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I like the French cruiser line. I like the French cruisers. I'm optimistic that this is going to be a fun line to play. But it still continues, to me, it just feels like it continues to hose up cruiser balance a little bit. I don't know, maybe I'm off base. Anyways, that has been announced. You can go check out that announcement and get a little more detail. Anyway, guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up for me today. You guys have a great weekend. Get out there, play some boats. And I will see you back here on YouTube next week with a continuation of the Italian Destroyer First Look videos, okay? Y'all take care. Wash your hands. Be safe. I'll catch you later.